All right, let's look at one final type of question. This one actually doesn't happen to be on the review packet, but there is a question like it on the take-home test, so I figure I should give you an example, like some sample version of it. So this one says, graph as a continuous function, place arrows because the graph will continue. So this is just part of it. It's saying that at the end of this, I should graph as a continuous function, connect the dots between each point, and I should place arrows because the pattern will continue. Here we'll be answering the domain and range. I probably should have put that below the table. But here's my table of inputs and my table of outputs over here. So I'm just going to make these into ordered pairs, and I'm going to graph these points onto the graph, right? My input's -3, my output is -6. So this should give me the point -3, -6. So I'm going to go -3, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 down to -6 in the y because that's my output, f of x. So here's the point -3, -6, just plotting this set of input-output values. -2, -1, so -2, -1, -1, 2, -1, 2 is another point. The point 0, 3, 0, 1, 2, 3. And then the point 1, 2, the point 1, 2. And it's a continuous function, so I'm going to connect these dots. It looks like it's got like a curve thing to it. So I'll do my best to connect all of these, just like that. And it said the pattern is going to continue, so I should draw arrows as I do this. Okay, so now let's take a look at my domain and range based on the function and the fact that I drew arrows on this because I was reading the instructions. So domain, I'm going to look to the left and the right. So as I go left, I eventually get the furthest left I get to that's on my function is this point here, but then there's an arrow going. It's going to eventually, but I mean, I've got an arrow and it's still going kind of the left. We're going to say my lower bound on domain is -infinity. We haven't talked about hitting a limit yet. We're in algebra 1. If you see an arrow there, unless it's really, really obviously stopping at a point and it's, not going left at all, then you can say something about that. But this is still going kind of left, and I just sketched this, so we're going to assume -infinity. And as I go to the right in the domain, again, I hit this arrow that's going out to the right. Forever and ever, it's going to be +infinity. In this case, my domain is from -infinity to +infinity. My range now, I'm looking for the y's. I'll go up and down, or rather down and up. As I go down, I see an arrow here, and my lowest point also right by it has an arrow going down forever as well. My lower bound of my range is -infinity. It keeps going further and further negative. The upper bound of my range, though, do not stop at this arrow. If I stop at this arrow, I still see these two bits of line above in my function that go up a little higher. My range actually goes up to this point right here, which was the point again, 0, 3. Because it's my range, I care about the y. My upper bound is 3 right over here. My upper bound is 3. It's on a solid line, not a dotted line. It was included in the chart. This point is definitely included. I can get to 3, so I'll put a square bracket there. That's the domain and the range of the function that I graphed. And then finally it says, all right, what do you think f of, maybe instead of f of 3, I'll do f of 2 for the sample problem. I think on your test it actually asks for f of 3, but it's also different input and output. All right, well, it's going to say, what do you think, based on the pattern you're seeing here, f of 2 is going to be? Well, at f of -3 is -6. F of -2 is -1. -1, it was 2. I don't see a pattern yet. 0, 3, but then I see, the same output happens again. Look, it looks like it's going here. I bet if I get to 2 in the x, it's going to match up with this point right over here. At 2 in the x, it's probably going to be like that. The pattern looks like, and following my arrow, looks like it's going to continue that way. So my best guess here for what the output for an input of 2 is going to be would probably match up with the -2 here. I'd say -1 is my best guess. If my input is 2, my output's -1 because I'm just following this same pattern that has already been established in the table. That is that last type of question. With these review videos, you should have enough to succeed in that take-home test.